Welcome back to our channel. Today we delve into a topic that has been making headlines globally. What would happen if China's economy collapses? China, known for its rapid economic growth and colossal influence, plays a significant role in the world economy. But what if it all comes crashing down? We'll explore the potential consequences, both domestically and internationally, of a hypothetical scenario where China's economy faces a collapse. But before we jump into it, let's take a moment to understand the current state of China's economy and the factors contributing to its unprecedented growth. China's economic powerhouse. China has undergone a remarkable transformation since the late 20th century, evolving from an agrarian society to a global economic powerhouse. With a population exceeding 1.4 billion and a steady influx of foreign investment, China emerged as the world's manufacturing hub, driving its export-oriented growth. Its GDP has consistently grown at impressive rates, often outpacing major developed economies. The country's rise was attributed to factors such as its low-cost labor force, extensive infrastructure development, and favorable government policies that encouraged foreign investments. The risks and vulnerabilities. While China's economic growth has been phenomenal, it hasn't been without risks and vulnerabilities. One significant concern is the high levels of debt, both in the corporate and local government sectors. China's debt-to-GDP ratio has surged in recent years, raising questions about the sustainability of its growth model. Additionally, the country's reliance on exports leaves it exposed to global economic downturns. Moreover, demographic challenges, such as an aging population and a shrinking workforce, could potentially strain social welfare systems and productivity levels in the future. Impact on global supply chains. China is the world's largest exporter, and its manufacturing prowess plays a crucial role in global supply chains. A collapse of China's economy would disrupt these intricate networks, affecting industries worldwide. Many multinational corporations have established production facilities in China to capitalize on its low production costs. An economic collapse could force these companies to relocate, leading to supply shortages and increased production costs. This domino effect could be particularly detrimental to industries heavily reliant on China, such as electronics, automotive, and textiles. Global financial market turmoil. The interconnectedness of the global financial system means that a crisis in one country can have a ripple effect worldwide. China's economy, being the second largest in the world, is closely integrated into the global financial system. A sudden collapse could trigger widespread panic and a loss of confidence in financial markets, causing stock markets to plummet and leading to a flight to safety among investors. Central banks and policymakers around the world would face the daunting challenge of containing the crisis and preventing a global economic meltdown. Impact on developing countries. While China's economic growth has brought benefits to some developing countries through trade and investment, an economic collapse could have severe consequences for these nations. Many developing economies heavily rely on China as a trading partner and source of investment. A downturn in China's economy could lead to reduced demand for commodities and raw materials, causing a drop in commodity prices and negatively affecting the export-driven economies of these countries. Additionally, Chinese-funded infrastructure projects in developing nations could stall or face disruptions. Geopolitical ramifications. The collapse of China's economy could significantly impact global geopolitics. China has emerged as a key player in international relations, shaping policies through its economic and diplomatic influence. A sudden economic collapse may lead to internal political instability, prompting the government to focus inwardly and diminish its global engagement. This withdrawal could create a power vacuum, allowing other countries or blocs to assert their influence, potentially leading to geopolitical tensions and realignments on the global stage. Potential for social unrest. A severe economic downturn in China could trigger widespread social unrest within the country. China's rapid economic growth has lifted millions out of poverty, and any reversal of this trend could lead to dissatisfaction and frustration among its citizens. High unemployment rates and decreased government spending on social welfare could further exacerbate the situation. The Chinese government may face immense pressure to restore stability, potentially resorting to more assertive measures that could be met with resistance and international scrutiny. Environmental impact. China's economic growth has come at a cost to the environment. The country is one of the largest emitters of greenhouse gases and faces significant environmental challenges, such as air and water pollution. An economic collapse may lead to a temporary reduction in emissions due to reduced industrial activity. But long-term recovery efforts could also result in a surge of environmentally harmful practices. Moreover, economic instability may divert resources from environmental conservation, impeding global efforts to combat climate change. Regional economic impact. The collapse of China's economy would have significant repercussions within the Asian region. Many neighboring countries have strong economic ties with China, making them vulnerable to the shockwaves of an economic downturn. These countries heavily rely on China as both a source of imports and a market for their exports. A decrease in Chinese demand for goods and services could lead to a slowdown in regional economies, affecting industries like tourism, manufacturing, and agriculture. Governments in the region would face the challenge of maintaining stability and diversifying their economies to reduce dependency on China. Supply chain diversification. One of the potential silver linings of a China economic collapse could be a push towards diversification of global supply chains. The pandemic-induced disruptions in 2020 highlighted the risks of over-reliance on a single country for manufacturing and supplies. As a result, companies and governments may reconsider their supply chain strategies, seeking more resilient and geographically dispersed alternatives. This shift could create opportunities for other countries to attract investment and stimulate their own economic growth. Impact on global trade. China's role as a global trade giant cannot be understated. An economic collapse could lead to increased protectionism and trade barriers. Countries that heavily depend on Chinese imports may seek to protect domestic industries by imposing tariffs and restrictions, escalating trade tensions and sparking trade disputes. A rise in protectionist measures could disrupt the flow of goods and services, ultimately impacting consumer prices and access to certain products worldwide. Energy and resource demand. China's enormous appetite for energy and natural resources has been a driving force behind the global commodities market. A sudden economic collapse could significantly reduce China's demand for resources, such as oil, coal, and metals. As a result, resource exporting countries that have relied on China's demand for their commodities may face economic challenges. Lower resource prices could lead to budgetary constraints and reduced revenues for these countries, affecting their development and overall stability. Impact on global technology. China has made substantial strides in technology, becoming a leader in areas like e-commerce, telecommunications, and artificial intelligence. However, an economic collapse could impact the country's ability to invest in research and development, leading to potential delays or cancellations of ambitious technology projects. This could create opportunities for other tech-savvy countries to step up and fill the void, potentially reshaping the global tech landscape and competition. Migration and humanitarian crisis. In times of economic turmoil, people often seek better opportunities and living conditions elsewhere. A collapse in China's economy could lead to a surge in immigration, potentially resulting in a humanitarian crisis. Countries neighboring China or those with existing Chinese diasporas may experience increased immigration flows, straining resources and infrastructure. Addressing such migration challenges would require international cooperation and well-coordinated policies to manage potential humanitarian and socio-economic impacts. Potential recovery scenarios. While the consequences of a China economic collapse could be dire, it's essential to consider potential recovery scenarios. Historically, countries have shown resilience and adaptability in times of crisis. International organizations and governments may extend financial aid and support to help stabilize China's economy. Additionally, China's vast domestic market and skilled workforce could serve as strong foundations for recovery. A restructured economy focusing on sustainable development and domestic consumption might lead to a more balanced and stable growth model. Conclusion. As we wrap up this exploration of what would happen if China's economy collapses, it becomes evident that the consequences would be far-reaching, impacting not only China but also the global economy, financial markets, geopolitics, and the environment. While this scenario is purely hypothetical, it underscores the importance of stability and cooperation in today's interconnected world. We hope you found this analysis insightful and thought-provoking. As always, we welcome your thoughts and comments on this topic. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative content.